There's a website that I've looked at almost every day since I've gotten into this hobby. It's a great community, it's a great resource for new and learning game masters, and I really think you should check it out. It's reddit.com. Hey fellow game masters, I'm Richard Quiner, and welcome back to the Daily D20, your daily dose of all things tabletop role-playing, helping you build your world and master your game. Now, if you've been on the internet for any length of time by this point, you've heard of Reddit, you know what Reddit is, and you know about things called subreddit and the weird places you can go when you go on that site. But today I wanted to share with you some locations on that site, or subreddits, that are immensely useful when learning to be a game master and trying to build your world and make your game. These places are just as much communities as they are resources, which is why I've chosen to put them on a Fellowship Friday listing. And I will preface this, most of these are related to Dungeons and Dragons in the names, but the resource will still work for pretty much any tabletop role-playing game you can touch. First up is r/D&D. This is kind of the catch-all community. People go there, they post stories, they post pictures, they ask questions, they get information and feedback from the community, and it's just a general catch-all of Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop gaming, knowledge and information and sharing. But that's just scratching the surface. The next one is r/DM Academy. DM Academy was set up to be a learning resource for game masters of all types, where a lot of experienced game masters and even new game masters can go on there, ask questions, and get advice from other people with much more experience than they have. There are plenty of very experienced game masters on there giving advice freely and being very helpful to the new, inexperienced game masters who need questions or help with their campaigns. There's others who go on and write full-on guides on how to build worlds and how to run campaigns and how to liven up combat and things like that you can go and read and really dive into the mind of these people who have been playing this game for decades. As far as Reddit goes and learning resources, I think DM Academy is a must-see for any game master who really wants to up their craft and take it to the next level. So check out r/DM Academy. Next up is r/D&D Behind the Screen. The name is longer, harder to write out, but it's designed to be an archive of knowledge of the decades of experience that game masters have. When you go on this subreddit, you won't necessarily find a bunch of people looking for advice, but what you will find is tons of people sharing tools and resources that they might have created in running their own games or that they might have found to make their games useful. It's just a big repository, and there's a lot of information here you can find, from random tables, city generators, world building articles, a lot of stuff that can help a new learning game master learn to better their craft. Many game masters will also go here to share the content they've created. They will post dungeons, they'll post campaigns, they'll post adventures, different things that they created and ran for their players that they just wanted to share with the greater community. So it's a really good resource of building a library of adventures and game content that you can use in your own sessions. And one of the really cool features I liked about this subreddit is the monthly theme. They take a time each month and all the community participates in building something new. This month they've been building a pantheon of deities, and it's been really fun to watch this grow as the community's worked on it. The next 3 subreddits are actually all map-based because I use these quite a bit. First up is r/D&D Maps, and it's just a repository of battle maps that people have made and shared. The number one rule on that subreddit is each post must be a map, and of those maps, it has to be downloadable and usable by people in the game. So if you need a map in a pinch, you can go on here, do a quick search, and you can probably find a map that fits your location. I've used this plenty of times. I've even gone on there and downloaded map after map just to store, so I have it on hand when I need it. r/Battle Maps is similar. It is another collection of maps, so there are plenty of people posting their battle maps on there, sharing it with the community, letting people use their maps. But in addition to that, they have opened the floor for discussion on map making. If you have a battle map, you can post it on there and get some critique, some constructive criticism on your map. If you want to try a map that someone else has made and they post it on there, you can go back and give feedback and kind of playtest their map and help them make it even better. They've opened that discussion in a way to help people who are trying to be good cartographers or good map makers build their craft and become better at it through the community's help. And the last subreddit, and yeah, this is going to be a pretty short video, is called r/Fantasy Maps. Now this is not just battle maps. Yes, there are battle maps on there, but it's also a resource and inspiration for players to look at world maps and see how world maps are built. You will find a ton of maps of people have built showing their world, showing their cities, these kind of really creative endeavors that people have gone through, and they just share it with the community and say, hey, look at what I did. And you can go on there, look at them. You can download them and use them in your game if you want, or you can just comment and say, hey, that's really cool, I like this, or you can learn from them. People also post guides on making fantasy maps on there. That often there are tutorials on how to use different softwares, which we'll go over other softwares later on. But it's a really cool subreddit and a nice community for people who are considered cartographers. That's what they like to be called, and where they can go and be together and discuss map making and building these fantasy worlds through the maps. I will note about this, one thing I kind of like, it's a much smaller community, but it is still kind of active. So if you post on there, it's less likely to get buried in the massive amount of postings, and it will still get some sort of traction as people will kind of see it and will probably comment back. So give it a look. So my question for you today is, what are your favorite subreddits that are related to tabletop role-playing games? Let me know in the comments below what tools you found available or what communities you found online. If you like this video, I invite you to hit the like button and of course subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos every day. And as always, Game Masters, I'm Richard Quiner. Thank you for watching.